Introduction. The mind that wins. Have you ever looked back at a decision and thought, if only I had seen that coming? We've all been there. That job we didn't take. That opportunity we missed. That person we trusted too quickly. Life isn't just about hard work or talent. It's about thinking clearly, choosing wisely, and planning ahead. That's what strategic thinking is all about. This book isn't just a guide. It's a mental upgrade. Inside these pages, you'll learn how to see situations from a higher level, make smarter decisions under pressure, anticipate problems before they happen, prioritize what truly matters, think like a strategist at work, in relationships. And in life, you don't need to be a CEO, military leader, or a chess champion to master strategy. You just need a system for thinking the right mindset, the right tools, and the right perspective. That's exactly what this book delivers. If you're tired of reacting and ready to start directing your life with intention, control, and vision, then you're in the right place. In a world full of noise, speed, and distraction, the ability to think strategically is your unfair advantage. It's what separates people who drift from people who design their destiny. So turn the page, read actively, reflect deeply, apply ruthlessly. This book might just be the turning point your future self will thank you for, if you're listening. On YouTube, subscribe now and hit the bell icon to get more life-changing audiobooks and insights just like this one. Your journey to a sharper mind and stronger future starts right here. Chapter 1. Think Beyond. Now we live in a culture that thrives on urgency. Notifications ping us by the minute. Trends shift by the week. Productivity is measured by how many boxes you check off in a day. But if we're being honest, most of our decisions are reactive, not strategic. We chase what's in front of us instead of aiming for what's beyond the horizon. This chapter is about breaking free from short-term thinking, the kind that feels productive but leads nowhere meaningful. Strategic thinkers don't just live in the present. They use the present to shape the future. The trap of the immediate. Let's start with a tough question. How often are your decisions shaped by urgency, not importance? If you're like most people, the answer is too often. We live in survival mode far more than we realize. It's not always about life or death situations. It's about survival of the inbox, the bills, the next social update. This default mode makes us reactive instead of proactive. And that's where strategic thinking dies. Here's the hard truth. Your brain loves short-term rewards. That's how we're wired. Biologically, we evolved to survive immediate threats. But in the modern world, our threats are deadlines, dopamine hits from likes, distractions that offer instant comfort. As a result, we sacrifice long-term fulfillment for short-term relief again and again. Strategic thinking begins the moment you realize this and choose to rise above it. Think like a chess player, not a checkers player. A chess master doesn't. Think one move ahead. They think 5, 10, even 20 moves ahead. Every piece move now is based on how it positions them for the endgame. Compare that to checkers, where players often make moves based on what looks good right now. This isn't just a metaphor, it's how your life operates. And most people are playing checkers with their careers, their health, their relationships. Strategic thinkers? They're playing chess. Ask yourself, am I spending my time on what gives me quick wins or what builds long-term leverage? Is this decision helping me move closer to the person I want to become 5 years from now? When you start thinking like a chess player, your life begins to compound in the right direction. The psychology of long-term thinking, here's what makes long-term thinking hard. Your brain isn't naturally built for it. The prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and decision-making, is often overpowered by the limbic system, which demands pleasure, safety, and instant results. But here's the good news. You can train your mind to think strategically. Just like muscles in the gym, strategic thinking gets stronger with repetition. Start with this principle. Delayed gratification is a superpower. Research from Stanford's famous marshmallow experiment showed that children who could delay gratification went on to have better life outcomes, higher test scores, better health, and stronger relationships. The reason? They were able to sacrifice now for later? You're not just making a decision when you say no to a short-term craving. You're building a habit of strategy. Tools to shift from short-term to strategic leads. Get practical. Here are 5 key tools to start thinking beyond now. 1. Tenure. Thinking, ask yourself, if I keep living working this way for the next 10 years, where will I end up? This simple but powerful question exposes the trajectory you're on, whether it needs to change. Strategic thinkers are obsessed with trajectory. It's not just results. 2. The 80-20ths. Principle: 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Identify and double down on those 20%. This saves energy and focuses your strategy on what actually moves the needle. 3. Second-order thinking. Always ask, and then what? This helps you consider the consequences of consequences, anticipating risk, reward, and opportunity. 4. Time horizon mapping. Break decisions into layers. Now, what needs attention today? Next, what must align in the next 3 to 6 months? Later, what are you building for in 3 to 5 years? This framework gives you clarity across timelines so you don't get stuck in the weeds. 5. Strategic. Journaling. Take 10 minutes weekly to reflect. What actions this week moved me closer to my long-term vision? What distractions did I fall into? What must I prioritize next week? This single habit compounds your clarity like interest in a bank account. Strategic thinking in real life. Steve Jobs didn't. He just built great products he thought 5 years ahead of where the world was going. Oprah Winfrey didn't just chase fame, she built a brand rooted in long-term impact. Elon Musk doesn't build for today's launching strategies for decades ahead. These aren't just stories. These are real examples of what becomes possible. When you train your mind to think beyond now, you don't need their wealth or fame to apply their thinking. You just need to start asking better questions and aligning your actions with a bigger future. What happens if you don't? Be brutally honest. People who don't think strategically waste years in the wrong job or relationship. Burn out from constantly reacting. Accumulate regrets instead of results. Feel busy, but move nowhere meaningful. Thinking short-term might feel safer, but it leads to a small life. One of distraction, burnout, and decisions made out of fear. Instead of vision, what happens when you do? Now let's flip it. People who master the art of strategic thinking build careers and businesses that matter. Attract high-quality relationships. Move with purpose, not panic. Make fewer, better decisions and enjoy greater freedom. They become the architects of their future, not victims of their circumstances. Your move: you have a choice. Live by default or live by design. This chapter isn't just theory, it's a starting point. Over the next chapters, you'll learn how to set a powerful vision chapter to adopt the mindset of elite strategists. Chapter 3, use tools that predict, prioritize, and win. Chapters 4 to 7, handle chaos, and create legacy. Chapters 8 to 10. But none of that works until you make this mental shift. Start thinking beyond now. The next time you face a decision, big or small, pause. Zoom out. Ask, how will this play out in 1 year? In 5 years? That pause might be the most strategic moment of your life. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe now and follow the journey. Each chapter is designed to change the way you think, act, and lead forever. Chapter 2. The Vision Blueprint. Why vision is non-negotiable. You're handed the keys to a powerful sports car. It's sleek, fast, and ready to go. But there's one problem. You don't know where you're going. Oh, no map, no coordinates, no destination. That's what life looks like without vision. You may have energy, you may have skills, but without direction, you're just burning fuel, going fast, but getting nowhere. Strategic thinking begins with a clearly defined vision. Vision isn't just a motivational poster on the wall. It's your North Star, the thing that helps you choose what to focus on, what to ignore, and where to steer your life, business, or career. Without vision, people drift. With vision, people decide powerfully and intentionally. Why most people don't have a vision, let's be honest. Most people never stop to truly define what they want in life. They may have vague goals, like be successful or be happy. But they've never done the work to clarify. What does success really look like for me? What kind of life do I want to wake up to in 10 years? What do I want to be known? 4. Why not? Because it's hard. It requires reflection. It demands courage. It means getting clear about what matters and letting go of what doesn't that's uncomfortable. But without a clear vision, you end up living someone else's. Idea of a good life. You chase goals that don't align with your values. You work hard without knowing why. That's a recipe for burnout and regret. The strategic power of Vision A. Powerful. Vision does 3 things. 1. It filters your decisions when you know where you're going. It's easier to say no. No to distractions. No to things that don't align. No to people who pull you off course. Without vision, everything feels urgent. With vision, only the essential becomes urgent too. It fuels your discipline, motivation fades, but vision sticks. When your actions are connected to something bigger than today's comfort, you'll keep moving, especially when it's hard. Vision gives you a reason to show up consistently, even when the results haven't arrived yet. 3. It attracts alignment. People and opportunities are drawn to clarity. When you articulate your vision clearly, you begin to attract collaborators, mentors, and even customers who resonate with it. In business and in life, clarity is magnetic. How to craft your vision blueprint? Let's build your vision step by step. This isn't abstract or woo-woo. This is strategic clarity that can shape your next decade. Step 1. Zoom 10 years ahead. Close your eyes and imagine. It's 10 years from today. Everything has gone right. You've made aligned decisions. You've stuck to your values. Done the work. Now answer these questions in full detail. What does your daily life look like? Where are you living? What kind of work do you do? Who are you surrounded by? How do people describe you? What kind of impact are you making? Write this in present tense, as if it's already happening. Example, I wake up feeling energized. I run a business that helps people transform their mindset. I work with a high-performing team who shares my values. My mornings are calm, and my income is abundant and aligned with my values. This isn't fantasy. This is target setting for your mind. Step 2. Define your core values. Your vision should be built on what matters most to you, not just what sounds good. Identify 3 to 5 core values that drive your decisions. Examples: freedom, growth, family. Impact, simplicity, mastery. Now ask, is the vision I just wrote aligned with these values? If not, revise. Your values are your compass. Your vision is your map. Step 3. Choose a guiding word or phrase, one powerful. Strategy is to choose a word or phrase that becomes your vision. Anchor a short, memorable idea that captures your essence. Examples: live light, lead strong, build legacy through clarity, design, decide, dominate, slow growth, deep roots. Put this on your mirror, in your phone. Let it guide you daily. Step 4. Reverse engineer the path now that you know where you want to go. Ask, what are 5 milestones that would prove I'm on the path? What habits, skills, or networks do I need to build? What do I need to say no to starting? Today, this is where your strategic thinking kicks in. You move from dreaming to designing. Real-world visionaries, let's ground this in reality. Vision isn't just for dreamers, it's how real people build extraordinary lives. Oprah Winfrey, her vision wasn't just to be on TV, it was to use media to heal, inspire, and transform. That vision guided every opportunity she said yes and no. -2.elon. Musk doesn't build cars. He's building a future where humanity becomes multiplanetary. That vision drives every launch, every risk, and every controversial tweet. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, her vision: to help women feel confident in their own skin. That clarity helped her disrupt a multi-billion-dollar industry, starting from her apartment. What do all these people have in common? Clear, driving, long-term vision that transcends short-term wins. The psychological effect of vision: when you have a compelling vision, your mind changes in 3 key ways. 1. You become more resilient. People with vision bounce back faster from failure. Why? Because failure doesn't define them. it just redirects them. The vision stays steady even when the route changes too. You make better. Decisions a choice you make becomes a yes or no question. Does this bring me closer to or further from my vision? That question alone can prevent years of wasted time and money. 3. You experience greater fulfillment. Achievement without meaning is empty. Vision gives meaning to your effort. It's not just about getting things done. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. Vision without strategy is just a wish, let's be clear. Vision is essential, but it's not enough. You still need to think strategically about how to execute it, which is what the next chapters of this book are all about. But without vision, strategy has no target. So don't skip this part. Don't rush it. Build your blueprint with intention. Final thought, draft it, then live. A tour-first version of your vision doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic. You can revise as you grow. The point is to get it out of your head and into your life. Start with this. My vision is to build a life where I feel do an impact. Now take that and stretch it over 10 years. Use the exercises above to detail what it really looks like. Then read it every week, adjust as needed. And most of all, line your daily choices with it. Because here's the truth. If you don't build your own vision, you'll end up building someone else's. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit subscribe for the next chapters. This is just the beginning. Chapter 3 will show you how to build the mindset of a strategist, so your vision doesn't just live on paper, it becomes your daily reality. Chapter 3. Mindset of a master strategist. Strategy begins in the mind. Strategy. It's just about having a plan, it's about how you see, think, and decide. Before any great move is made in war, business, or life, it's first made in the mind. This chapter is about reprogramming how you think. Because while tools and tactics are useful, they're only as good as the mindset driving them. The world's greatest strategists, whether CEOs, military generals, or elite athletes, don't operate from chance or emotion. They think differently. They see the world through patterns, probabilities, and long-term positioning, and so can you. The strategic versus tactical mindset. Start by distinguishing between two types of minds. Tactical thinker focuses on execution, deals with what's urgent, asks, what should I do now? Strategic thinker focuses on positioning, deals with what's important, asks, why am I doing this and what does it lead to?
Practical thinking is necessary. It's how things get done.
But without strategic thinking to guide it, you end up being busy instead of effective. Constantly reacting instead of intentionally creating. To think like a master strategist, you must rise above the day-to-day noise and develop a mental altitude. Habit of zooming out, spotting patterns, and moving deliberately. Rewiring your mental operating system. The strategic mindset isn't something you're born with. It's built through self-awareness, pattern recognition, mental models, emotional discipline, long range thinking. Let's break down how to cultivate each of these qualities. 1. Self-awareness.
Oh, no.
Your inner chessboard. All strategy begins with understanding the player before the game. The most successful strategists have a deep awareness of their own tendencies, weaknesses, and cognitive biases. Ask yourself, what triggers my impatience? Do I react emotionally or respond deliberately? What patterns do I repeat under stress? Am I driven by logic, fear, or ego? You can't think strategically if you don't understand what's driving your decisions. Self-awareness gives you the clarity to step outside the moment and choose your actions with intention. Strategic tool. Keep a decision journal. After each major decision, write down what you chose, why you chose it, what you expected to happen, what actually happened over time. This reveals patterns in your thinking that you can refine too. Pattern recognition. The strategists, superpower master strategists, see what others miss. They spot patterns in behavior, markets, emotions, and systems. While others see chaos, they see structure and signals. In chess, grandmasters don't evaluate every single possibility. They rely on stored patterns and experience to narrow their choices. They chunk complex problems into manageable pieces. In life, the same principle applies. Train your brain to ask, What happened the last time I saw a situation like this? What trends are repeating here? What's the underlying principle at play? Strategic thinkers live in the realm of principles, not noise. They don't react to headlines, they analyze the direction behind them. Strategic tool, study case studies. History, business failures, military strategy, sports dynasties, they all offer patterns. Don't just look at outcomes, study how decisions were made and why they worked or failed. 3. Mental models. Think like the best a mental model is. A way of simplifying complexity so you can make better decisions. It's a tool for thinking. The more models you have, the more intelligently you can navigate uncertainty. Here are a few mental models. Master strategists use first and second order. Thinking, don't just consider the immediate impact. Ask, and then what? Think in layers. Strategic thinkers anticipate consequences, not just reactions. Inversion. Ask what would guarantee failure, then avoid those behaviors. Sometimes avoiding stupidity is more effective than chasing brilliance. Opportunity cost. Every choice comes at the cost of not choosing something else. Is what you're doing the highest value use of your time? Leverage. Identify what small action can produce an outsized result. This is the cornerstone of efficient strategy. Strategic tool. Keep a mental model matrix, a list of your favorite models. When facing a big decision, run it through 2 to 3 lenses. You'll see clearer and think sharper. 4. Emotional discipline. Strategy over impulse. The enemy of strategy. Emotionally driven decision-making, anger, fear, ego, and impatience can destroy even the best plan. A true strategist doesn't ignore emotion, they master it. They know when to act, when to pause, and when to walk away. Think about Warren Buffett. His biggest advantage isn't just his financial IQ, it's his ability to stay calm when others panic. That's emotional discipline in action. Ask yourself, can I remain steady in uncertainty? Do I act on emotion or process it first? Do I seek short-term validation or long-term value? Master strategists delay reactions. They create space between stimulus and response, and in that space, they make strategic moves while others make emotional ones. Strategic tool. Use the tactical pause. When under pressure, pause for 10 seconds, 10 minutes, or even 10 hours. Before reacting, that pause could save you 10 months of regret. 5. Long-range thinking. Play the infinite game. Simon Sinek talks about the infinite game, playing not to win temporarily, but to endure, adapt, and lead for the long run. Strategic. Thinkers don't just play for today. They think in decades, not days. They consider how today's decision fits into a 5-year or 50-year plan in military strategy. This is called the end state, the ultimate outcome you want to achieve. In personal strategy, this might be the kind of legacy you want to leave. Ask, if I keep doing this for 10 years, where will I end up? Will this matter in 3 months? In 3 years? What outcome do I want to create in? Am I reverse engineering from it? Strategic tool, create a future map. Write your ideal outcome, 510, years from now. Then work backward. What must be true at the 1-year, 6-month, and 30-day mark to get there? Strategy is thinking in layers. The best strategists don't think in lines. They think in layers. Immediate needs, midterm positioning, long-term. Outcomes, they hold multiple timelines in their mind at once, making choices that serve all 3 when possible. This is why they seem calm, prepared, and in control, because they've already mentally rehearsed the next 5 steps while others are still reacting to the first one. The compounding effect of a strategic mindset. Here's what happens when you begin to consistently think like a master strategist. You stop wasting energy on low-leverage moves. You make better decisions with less stress. You start to attract people who respect your clarity and leadership. You become someone others look to for direction. Most importantly, you begin to trust yourself more. You no longer feel at the mercy of life. You feel like the designer of it. Real-world strategic thinkers. Let's explore a few more real-world examples. Angela Merkel, as Germany's chancellor for 16 years, Merkel was known for her calm, deliberate strategic thinking. She avoided knee-jerk decisions and was known for gathering deep insight before making a move. Jeff Bezos famously says, "We are willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time." That's a strategic mindset, delaying gratification and focusing on the long game. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome, practiced deep reflection, self-awareness, and emotional discipline. His private writings, Meditations, are a masterclass. In strategic thought under pressure, these thinkers didn't just act differently, they thought differently. So can you. Final challenge. Think like a master. Here's your assignment to close this chapter. Track your decisions for a week. Note what triggered them: emotion, urgency, logic, long-term thinking. Pick one mental model from this chapter and apply it daily. Write your strategic commandments, a list of 5 to 7 beliefs, or rules that guide how you want to make decisions from now on. Examples: I prioritize long-term impact over short-term comfort. I pause before I respond. I think in second-order consequences. I play for the end game, not applause. These are more than quotes. They're strategic code for living at a higher level. Chapter 4. See the whole chessboard. Introduction. Beyond the obvious, imagine walking into a room where a chess game is being played. Most people focus on a few pieces, maybe the queen or the knight making a bold move. But a grandmaster don't just look at a piece, they see the entire board. Every move, every consequence, every dependency. Strategic thinkers operate the same way. They don't just react to what's right in front of them, they understand how everything connects. They don't think in isolated moments, they think in systems. This chapter is your initiation into systems. Think in a mental model that transforms how you analyze situations, solve problems, and make smarter, future-proof decisions. The problem with linear thinking: most people think in straight lines. Example: if I work more hours, I'll earn more money. If I eat less, I'll lose weight. If I launch a product, people will buy it. But life isn't linear. It's dynamic, interdependent, and full of feedback loops. Every action creates reactions, some immediate, others delayed. Linear thinking is seductive because it feels simple, but it often leads to unintended consequences: frustration when things don't go as expected, solutions that solve symptoms, not root cause. Strategic thinkers learn to zoom out and map the whole system, not just the surface-level variables. What is systems thinking? Systems thinking is the ability to see interconnections rather than isolated events. It's the skill of recognizing that in any situation, whether in business, relationships, health, or leadership, everything is connected. A system is any group of parts that interact to form a complex whole. Your body is a system. A team is a system. Your mindset, habits, goals, and routines form an internal system. Systems thinking teaches you to ask, what are the components here? How do they influence each other? What happens when I change one part? What are the delayed or ripple effects? This way of thinking changes everything from how you manage your time to how you design your business, to how you improve your personal life. Key principles of systems thinking. EHS break down a few core principles that make systems thinking such a powerful tool for master strategists. 1. Everything is connected in a system. No part exists in isolation. Everything affects everything else. Change one component, and the rest of the system shifts in response. Example: you improve employee morale in a company, and suddenly productivity increases, turnover drops, and customer satisfaction improves. Why? Because one change created a ripple effect through the system. 2. Structure drives behavior. If you want different results, don't just tell people to act differently, change the system that shapes their behavior. Think of a school where students struggle with discipline. Punishing students may help in the short term. But if the structure of the school encourages boredom or stress, the same behavior returns. The smarter move: adjust the system, change the schedule, add more engagement, train the teachers, update the curriculum. Strategists don't fight symptoms, they rebuild systems. Point 3. Feedback loops. Matera feedback loop occurs when an action leads to a result that feeds back into the system and changes future behavior. There are two main types: reinforcing positive loops. These amplify outcomes. Egg. Yeah. The more you exercise, the more energy you have, which makes you want to exercise more. Balancing negative loops. These stabilize systems. The thermostat keeps your home at a set temperature by adjusting when it gets too hot or cold. Strategic thinkers identify these loops and either strengthen or weaken them based on the outcomes they want. Applying systems thinking to everyday life. Let's bring this concept into reality. Systems thinking isn't just a theory, it's a lens for better living. In business, say your company is struggling with customer churn. A linear thinker might just increase advertising to attract new customers. But a strategic thinker looks at the whole system. Is the onboarding process confusing? Are your customer service reps undertrained? Is your product lacking updates? It's by improving the system, you not only reduce churn, you increase loyalty, referrals, and profit. It's compound strategy. In health, most people try to lose weight by cutting calories or joining a gym. Systems thinker goes deeper. Is stress leading to emotional eating? Is poor sleep sabotaging willpower? Is your environment full of unhealthy triggers? Rather than treating symptoms, they optimize the whole system, leading to sustainable results. In relationships, strained marriage, instead of focusing just on surface fights, a systems thinker looks at communication habits, shared responsibilities. Emotional baggage from the past, unmet expectations or goals. They don't fix the event, they shift the ecosystem that caused it. Tools to see the whole chessboard. Let us equip you with practical tools to develop your systems thinking skills. 1. Causal loop diagrams. Draw circles for each key component in a situation and connect them with arrows showing influence. Label positive plus or negative relationships. Example: sleep plus gives energy, plus gives focus, plus gives productivity, plus gives job satisfaction, plus gives sleep. Now you've visualized a reinforcing loop. Improve 1 point, the whole system benefits 2. The iceberg model. Most people react to events what's visible, but systems thinkers go deeper. Events tip of the iceberg: patterns, repeating behaviors, structures, systems that create those patterns, mental models, beliefs, and assumptions that shape the system. When you solve problems at the structure or mental model level, your solutions become transformational. It's not just tactical. 3. System mapping questions. Before making any decision, ask, what are the key parts of this system? How do they interact? What feedback loops are in place? Where is the leverage point? 1 change that affects the whole. This form of questioning is how strategists find clarity where others see confusion. Building a systems mindset, just like learning a language, systems thinking takes practice. Here are habits to build it into your everyday life. Zoom out. Regularly set aside weekly or monthly reflection time to ask, what am I not seeing? Step back from the tasks and look at the system behind the tasks. Talk in diagrams. Train yourself to visualize how things connect. Your problem's out. If you can see the system, you can shift it. Study interdisciplinary thinking. Read outside your field. Economics, military history, software design. You'll discover shared systems, principles that deepen your strategic toolbox. Run system simulations in your mind before making a decision. Run the system forward in your head. If I do this, what are the downstream effects in 3 months, 1 year, 5 years? This is how you start seeing 5 moves ahead like a true strategist. The big picture. Why does systems thinking matter so much in strategic thinking? Because without it, you miss hidden connections, fix symptoms, not causes. Waste effort on surface level results, repeat mistakes in different forms, but with it, you design smarter businesses, build lasting relationships, navigate complexity with clarity, make fewer, better, more impactful decisions. Real-world strategic misfire. Blockbuster. Their linear thinking said, we rent DVDs, we make money. But Netflix saw the whole chessboard. Customer convenience, the power of subscriptions, the coming shift to digital. Netflix played the long game. Blockbuster only played the current game and lost. Or look at Kodak. They invented the digital camera, but buried it to protect their film business. They didn't see how the system of photography was evolving. Their inability to think in systems cost them the market. Final strategic takeaways. Let's land this chapter with clear, powerful lessons you can apply immediately. Don't just act map. Visualize systems before diving in. Shift from cause-effect to pattern recognition. Ask, what's the system doing? Not just what just happened. Invest in leverage points. A small, strategic change in the right part of a system transforms the whole. Listening on YouTube. Subscribe now and stay with us. The next chapter dives into predicting the future and preparing for it so you're always 2 steps ahead, no matter what life throws your way. Chapter 5. Predict, Prepare, Prevail. Introduction. Why prediction is power. Imagine life as a complex chess game. The casual player focuses only on the piece in front of them. The strategist, they're already thinking about their 3rd or 4th move. The difference. Foresight strategic thinkers don't just react to what is, they predict what could be. They spot emerging trends before they become headlines. They identify threats before they become crises. And most importantly, they prepare in advance, ensuring they are always 2 moves ahead of the competition of change, of chaos. This chapter will teach you how to do exactly that. The danger of living in the present only in a world that glorifies living in the moment. Most people are walking through life with their head down, reacting to emails, notifications, and daily fires. That might make you feel busy, even productive, but it keeps you blind to the bigger picture. Jobs disappear overnight due to automation. Markets crash without warning. Personal relationships fail from years of neglect. Health problems arise from habits ignored. The consequences? Most people end up shocked by outcomes that were in fact predictable. If you want to lead in life and business, you must train your mind too. Look beyond the moment, scan for signals. Prepare while others procrastinate. The 3 Ps of future mastery to consistently stay ahead. Master strategists follow this framework. Predict, use data, intuition, and pattern recognition to anticipate what's coming. Prepare, take calculated proactive steps to be ready for different scenarios. Prevail, thrive, while others panic because you saw it coming and had a plan. Let's unpack each one with powerful tools, examples, and exercises. Predict. The art of anticipation. Strategic prediction isn't about guessing, it's about informed foresight. It's not about being 100% right. It's about being less surprised than the competition. Here are the key ways to sharpen your predictive edge. 1. Study patterns. It's not headlines. The news reports events. Strategists study trends. They ask, what keeps happening? What's accelerating? It's quietly disappearing. Examples. The rise of remote work wasn't sudden, it was a visible pattern. Health issues in midlife don't happen overnight. They're the result of decades of micro-decisions. Technological disruption doesn't wait, it leaves behind. The unprepared. Tool. Trend journaling. Keep a weekly log of trends you observe in your industry, society, or life. Over time, you'll build pattern recognition muscles that sharpen your anticipation. 2. Use strategic forecasting. Ask these 5 future scan questions. What will be true if nothing changes? What's changing faster than people realize? Who benefits most if this trend continues? What dominoes could fall next? What assumptions am I making that might no longer be true? This is how leaders in business, politics, and innovation spot blind spots before they become disasters. 3. Explore the edges. Innovations. Crises and transformations usually don't start at the center of society, they start at the fringes. Smart. Strategists pay attention to startups, subcultures, marginalized voices, fringe science, early adopters. Why? Because what seems weird today often becomes normal tomorrow. Example, cryptocurrency. Once dismissed as a fringe movement, is now a trillion-dollar ecosystem. Those who studied the edges saw the future coming and profited. Prepare. Build strategic readiness. Prediction without preparation is useless. Strategy without action is just daydreaming. Once you've formed a set of plausible futures, it's time to design your readiness. Here's how. 1. Create future scenarios and master. A strategist doesn't prepare for one future, they prepare for multiple. Use this technique. Scenario A. Best case, everything goes right. Scenario B. Probable, most likely outcome. Scenario C. Worst case, if it all goes wrong. Now ask, what would I do in each case? What resources, skills, or support would I need? What can I start doing now to reduce risk across all three? This isn't paranoia, it's strategic redundancy. It's why elite militaries, top athletes, and world-class CEOs always have contingency plans too. Develop anti-fragility. Goal isn't just to survive change, it's to get stronger because of it. Author Nassim Taleb coined the term antifragile to describe systems that thrive under stress. Examples: muscles grow when pushed. Businesses evolve under pressure. Minds sharpen in adversity. You become antifragile when you diversify income and skills, embrace discomfort and challenge, remove dependence on any one system or person. Strategic. Question: where am I fragile and how can I redesign that part of my life to benefit from change instead of break from it? 3. Build optionality in uncertain times. The most valuable asset is options. Optionality means having choices paths you can pursue when things shift. Build optionality in skills, keep learning, cross-train. Income, create multiple streams. Location, build remote capability. Time, create margin for thinking, not just doing. Optionality equals flexibility equals survival equals success. Prevail.
Execute.
With confidence, prediction and preparation mean nothing unless you execute when the moment comes. Here's how master strategists step forward while others freeze. Point 1. Recognize the window. Every major opportunity has a window of action. Wait too long and it closes. Jump too early and you burn resources. How to spot it? Patterns become mainstream. Resistance fades. Resources align. The risk-reward ratio tilts in your favor. Think of it like surfing. Anticipation gets you in position. Preparation helps. You paddle, but only decisive action lets you ride the wave too. Take calculated risks. Prevailing isn't about avoiding risk, it's about managing it. Use the barbell strategy on one side. Play it safe with 80% of your life or resources. On the other, place bold. Asymmetric bets with 20% where the upside is big and the downside is limited. This is how entrepreneurs, investors, and creators rise quickly. They hedge their downside but aren't afraid to place bold bets. 3. Stay adaptable. No prediction is perfect. No plan survives contact with reality. The final trait of a winning strategist is adaptability, the willingness to pivot, reframe, and learn. Ask, what's changed since I made this plan? What new information has emerged? How can I adjust quickly without losing focus? Remember, stubbornness kills strategy. Adaptability keeps you alive. Real-world examples. Netflix versus Blockbuster. Netflix predicted the streaming revolution. They prepared by investing in content delivery networks and original programming. They prevailed by dominating the entertainment industry while Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Toyota in the 2008 financial crisis. Toyota didn't just predict market shifts, they built cash reserves and diversified production. While others collapsed, they rebounded quickly and took market share. Serena Williams, her long-term dominance wasn't based only on talent, but preparation, adjusting her game, training differently as she aged, and managing recovery better than her peers. She predicted what her body and game needed, prepared methodically, and prevailed for decades. Final thoughts. Strategic living is a superpower. Let's be clear. The future is uncertain, but uncertainty is not your enemy. In fact, it's your greatest opportunity if you develop the discipline to see beyond today, plan beyond emotion, act beyond fear. This is the mindset of elite leaders, top performers, and timeless innovators. It's not magic, it's mastery. Starts with building the muscle of predict, prepare, prevail. You won't get it perfect every time. You don't need to. The goal isn't to know everything. It's to be ready for anything. Chapter 6. The Power of Priority Introduction. Why most people stay stuck? Why do some people work 10 hours a day and stay stuck for years, while others work less but seem to move forward faster, with more impact and less stress? It's not luck. It's not just intelligence. It's priority. Most people don't fail because of lack of effort. They fail because of scattered effort. They get caught in the trap of busyness, checking emails, replying to messages, attending unproductive meetings while their biggest goals sit quietly in the background, waiting to be noticed. Strategic thinkers know the truth. Success isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things. This chapter will help you rewire how you think about focus, discipline, and time so you can build a life and career around what truly matters. The myth of multitasking been sold a lie that multitasking is efficient, that doing many things at once is productive. In reality, the human brain can't focus on multiple complex tasks simultaneously. What we call multitasking is really task switching, and it's a productivity killer. Each switch between tasks creates a cognitive residue, kind of mental lag that slows you down and drains your energy, according to research from the American Psychological Association. Switching tasks can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. Strategic thinkers don't scatter their focus. They batch, sequence, and commit. Focus is the hidden force multiplier. When you align it with your top priorities, results accelerate. What is priority really? The word priority comes from the Latin prior, meaning first. Originally, it had no plural. There was only one first thing. Only in recent decades did we start saying priorities. So if we could have multiple, most important things at once. But that's not how strategy works. A real strategist asks, what one thing, done well, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? What must be done now versus what can wait? Where can I invest attention that produces outsized results? They don't chase many things. They commit to the few that matter most. The 80-20th rule, uncovering the hidden. Leverage. One of the most powerful principles in strategy is the Pareto principle, or the 80-20th rule. 80% of results come from 20% of inputs. 80% of profits come from 20% of customers. 80% of stress comes from 20% of problems. This rule isn't exact, but it's directionally true across almost every domain in your life. Right now, 20% of your habits are producing most of your energy. 20% of your relationships bring most of your fulfillment. 20% of your work drives most of your success. Strategic thinkers don't try to do everything. They identify and amplify the high-leverage 20%. The mechanics of strategic focus. So how do you actually find and act on your top priorities? Let's go step by step through the process elite performers and strategists use to cut through the noise. 1. Clarify your North Star. Before you can prioritize, you must know what you're prioritizing for. Ask, what is the ultimate outcome I want? In this area of life, what values do I want to protect or promote? What does winning look like in my career? Relationships, health. Your North Star gives context. Without it, you'll chase short-term tasks that feel urgent but have no long-term meaning. Tool, right? A North Star statement. My number one goal right now is to clear outcome so that I can deeper purpose. This becomes your strategic filter for every opportunity and decision. 2. Identify your keystone task. Keystone task is the one task that creates momentum in everything else. It's the habit or activity that solves multiple problems at once, makes other tasks easier or irrelevant, builds progress faster than anything else. Examples: for health, pre-cooking meals weekly; for career, 90 minutes of deep work each morning; for relationships, weekly uninterrupted date nights. Keystone tasks create a ripple effect. Focus on them first. Focus on them first. Point 3. Use the priority ladder. Here's a priorities. Level type action 1. Mission critical, must be done now. Has long-term impact. Too important. Not urgent, schedule. Soon. Builds strategic advantage. 3. Busy work, delegate, batch or minimize. for noise eliminate. No strategic value. Most people spend their days in levels 3 and 4. Strategic thinkers live in levels 1 and 2. Tool. Review your to-do list. Categorize each item by this ladder. Cross off or delegate anything below level 2.4. Protect deep work time. Author Cal Newport coined the term deep work extended. Distraction-free focus on cognitively demanding tasks. This is where priority becomes power. Block time each day for focused work on your most important goals. No multitasking, no phone. No distractions. Start with 60 to 90 minutes a day. Over time, increase your capacity. This one habit can 10x your productivity, creativity, and clarity. 5. Learn to say no even to good things you don't need more time. You need fewer obligations. Saying no is not selfish. Strategic. It protects your time, energy, and attention for what really matters. The best in the world aren't the busiest. They're the most ruthless about focus. Warren Buffett said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Use this mindset. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Does this support my North Star? If not, decline. Is this urgent for someone else but not important to me? Align your life with your priorities. Priorities aren't just what you say, they're what you schedule, protect, and live. Do your calendar, habits, and routines reflect what matters most. Here's a checklist for alignment. Is my morning routine optimized to support my keystone habit? Is my calendar full of things I've chosen or things others chose for me? Am I tracking progress on my most important goals weekly? Your environment, energy, and systems must support your strategic focus. Otherwise, you'll keep getting pulled into low-value work. Real-world examples of priority power. Steve Jobs, when Jobs returned to Apple in 1997. He cut the product line from over 350 to just 10 core offerings. He said, "I'm actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things we have." That laser focus turned Apple from near bankruptcy to one of the most valuable companies in the world. Barack Obama's president. Obama wore only gray or blue suits. Why? To eliminate decision fatigue and preserve mental energy for more important decisions. Strategic thinkers eliminate the unimportant to focus on what truly matters. Elon Musk divides his day into 5-minute blocks to maximize deep work. He doesn't just work hard, he works with priority precision. Final strategic shifts. Let's close with some mindset shifts that will help you embody the power of priority. Every day. Shift number 1, from time management to attention management. Time is fixed. Attention is fluid. Guard your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Shift number 2, from productivity to leverage. Stop asking, "How can I get more done?" Start asking, "What few things create the most impact?" Shift number A, from reactive to intentional. Dent. Start your day with email or news. Start with your highest priority. Let your goals, not your inbox, set your direction, your strategic action plan before moving to the next chapter. Do this exercise. Write down your North Star for the next 90 days. Identify your keystone task that supports that North Star. Block out deep work time on your calendar for a daily or weekly. Eliminate or delegate 3 tasks that don't support your North Star. This single commitment to live your life aligned with your priorities can change everything. Chapter 7. Mental Models That Win. Introduction. Thinking about thinking. Have you ever made a decision that seemed right in the moment, but turned out disastrously later? Have you ever looked back and thought, "If only I had thought it through differently"? Here's the truth. Most people don't rise to the level of their ambition, they fall to the level of their thinking process. Success in any field is not just about hard work or talent. It's about making consistently better decisions than the people around you. And better decisions come from better mental models. In this chapter, you'll learn the mental frameworks used by billionaires, military generals, world-class athletes, and legendary strategists, so you can start making smarter, faster, and more strategic decisions in every area of your life. What are mental models? A mental model is a representation of how something works. It's a shortcut your brain uses to understand the world, solve problems, and make decisions. We all use mental models every day. Supply and demand is a model from economics. The squeaky wheel gets the grease is a model from human behavior. What goes up must come down is a model from physics. The problem? Most people rely on just a few default models they've picked up randomly often, outdated, biased, or limited. Strategic thinkers build a mental toolbox filled with powerful models from multiple disciplines, so they can analyze problems from many angles, avoid blind spots, choose wisely. Let's dive into the mental models that separate strategic minds from everyone else. 1. Second-order thinking, and then what? Most people stop at first-order thinking. They ask, what happens next? Make a decision. But second-order thinkers go further. They ask, what happens after that? What are the long-term effects? What unintended consequences could arise? Example, first order, let's offer deep discounts to boost sales this month. Second order, but that might train customers to wait for deals, damage our brand value, and lower profits long-term. Strategic application, in business. Will this policy help us today, but hurt us next quarter? In health, will this diet work now, but be unsustainable later? In relationships, will avoiding this conflict lead to bigger issues in the future? Key question. What will be the second and third dominoes to fall if I do this? 2. Inversion, instead of asking how to succeed, ask how to fail and avoid that. Inversion flips the problem upside down. It asks, what would guarantee failure? What should I avoid at all costs? What assumptions should I challenge? Example, how do you build trust? How do you destroy trust? Lie. Break promises. Be inconsistent. Then avoid those. Why it works. Our brains are often better at seeing what's wrong than what's right. Inversion helps you spot risks, eliminate blind spots, and strengthen plans. Use it when you're stuck. Solving a complex problem. You need to pressure test your strategy. You're dealing with high stakes and can't afford a mistake. Key question. If I wanted to make this go badly, what would I do? Now, how do I avoid that? 3. Opportunity cost doing one thing means not doing something else. Always. Opportunity cost is the hidden cost of every decision, the value of the next best alternative. You're giving up. Most people don't think this way. They ask, can I afford it? Do I have time for it? Strategic thinkers ask, what am I not doing because I said yes to this? Is this the highest and best use of my time or resources? Example, you spend $100,000 launching a product. But what if putting that money into ads for your best-selling product would return 5x more? That's your opportunity cost. In personal life, watching Netflix might seem relaxing, but the opportunity cost is time you could have spent learning, building, or connecting. Key question. What am I sacrificing by choosing this? 4. First principles thinking. Break things down to the fundamentals, then build up from there. Popularized by Elon Musk, first principles thinking avoids copying others or relying on assumptions. Instead, it breaks complex problems into basic truths and rebuilds solutions from scratch. Example, most people buy batteries because that's how electric cars work. Musk asked, what are the raw materials in a battery? Could we build them cheaper ourselves? Result. Tesla builds world-class batteries from first principles. Why it works? Avoids groupthink and blind imitation. Leads to innovative, cost-effective, original solutions. Use it when you're solving a problem no one else has cracked. You're entering a new field or industry. You want to disrupt, not just improve. Key question. What are the undeniable truths here and what can I build from them? 5. Probabilistic thinking. What's likely to happen and how likely is it? Life is rarely certain, yet most people think in absolutes. It will work, or it won't. Strategic thinkers think in probabilities. There's a 70% chance this product succeeds. This investment has a 20% chance of a 5x return. They make decisions based on expected value, not emotion. Why it matters? helps you make smarter bets, prepares you for different outcomes. Reduces emotional overreactions. How to build it. Practice estimating outcomes and assigning rough probabilities. Track predictions and refine your accuracy over time. Avoid all or nothing thinking. Key question: what's the likelihood of each outcome and what's the value of each? 6. The margin of safety. Leave room for error. Always. The margin of safety is a concept from engineering and investing. Build in a buffer between what you expect and what you can tolerate. Example: a bridge that holds. 10,000 pounds should be built to withstand. 15,000? A financial plan expecting? $10,000 per month should be safe, even at $7,000 a month. Why it matters? World is unpredictable. Plans often fail. Errors compound. Strategic thinkers don't bet the farm. They build resilience into every decision. Use it in deadlines. Finish earlier than needed. Budgets. Plan for cost overruns. Energy. Don't burn out to hit a goal. Key question: what if things go 20% worse than expected? Am I still okay? 7. Systems versus goals. Winners focus on the process. Losers obsess over the outcome. A goal is a destination. A system is the path you walk every day. Strategic thinkers build systems. Want to lose weight? You build a system of meal prep and consistent workouts. Want to write a book? Build a writing system, not just a deadline. Why it works? Goals are outside your control. Systems are inside. Systems create momentum, consistency, and compounding returns. Use it when you feel stuck or unmotivated. You failed at a goal before. You want long-term mastery, not just a quick win. Key question: what system would naturally produce the result I want? 8. Circle of control. Focus on what you can control. Let go of what you can't. It's this timeless model from the Stoics to Stephen Covey separates life into 3 areas. Control your actions. Effort, mindset, influence others' opinions. Outcomes concern the economy, politics. The past. Most people waste energy worrying about things they cannot change. Strategic thinkers focus energy where it matters: their own behavior, discipline, and strategy. Key question: is this in my control? If not, why am I wasting energy on it? How to build a mental model toolbox. You now know some of the world's most powerful mental models. But knowledge alone isn't enough. You must use them regularly. Here's how to build your own. Strategic brain. 1. Start A. Mental model journal. Chapter 8. Strategy in motion. Why strategy without motion fails. Imagine building the perfect map. You've marked every path, anticipated every obstacle, and optimized every route. It's a masterpiece. But then, you never actually take the journey. This is the fate of most strategic thinking stays in notebooks, vision boards, or spreadsheets, never making its way into reality in the real world. A good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed next month. This chapter is about translating thought into movement. Insight into results. Whether you're leading a team, building a brand, managing your life, or simply trying to level up, you must learn how to make strategy move. Otherwise, you're stuck in potential mode. Intelligent, capable, but going nowhere. Let's change that. Part 1. Planning that leads to action. The difference between strategy and a to-do list. 1. The most common mistakes people make is confusing strategy with task management. A to-do list is a collection of actions. Strategy is about making sure you're doing the right actions in the right sequence, with the right outcomes in mind. Strategic planning is not about adding more to your plate. It's about building a coherent system that connects daily actions. With long-term vision, ask yourself, what am I really trying to accomplish? Which steps matter most? In what order should I execute? The 4-part strategic execution framework to move from intention to impact. Use this simple but powerful framework. Clarify, define exactly what you want and why. Chunk, break it into smaller, executable parts. Sequence, order the parts by impact and dependencies. Schedule, put those steps on your calendar with non-negotiable time blocks. Example: Let's say your strategy is to grow a personal brand on YouTube. Clarify. Goal is to grow to 10,000 subscribers in 6 months. Chunk. Identify key areas: content creation, branding, SEO, distribution. Sequence. Start with branding and research, gives, then content creation, gives, then consistent uploads, gives, then promotion strategy. Schedule. Block out 3 hours every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for filming, editing. Now your strategic plan is alive. It moves. It adapts. Part 2. Learn to pivot without panic. Every strategy eventually meets resistance. Markets shift. People leave. Plans go sideways. The weak abandon the mission. Stubborn stick to the wrong path. But strategic thinkers, they pivot with precision. Adaptability versus inconsistency. Pivoting doesn't mean quitting your goals. It means adjusting your methods based on new data. Here's how to pivot strategically. Signal versus noise. Don't change plans based on one bad day. Look for patterns before you pivot. Cost of inaction. If sticking to the old path is costing momentum, it's time to evolve. Small experiments don't blow up the whole plan. Test changes in small ways and scale what works. Example. If your ad campaign isn't converting, don't stop marketing. Run A/B tests with new creative. Adjust. Copy. Change platforms. Strategic action is responsive but not reactive. Build feedback loops. Feedback is the compass of execution. Without it, you're navigating in the dark. Use these loops. Internal. Weekly reviews of your progress. Energy and clarity. External. Ask your audience, customers, or mentors what's working and what's not. Data. Track key metrics. Don't lie. They need interpretation. Pro tip. Schedule weekly strategy sessions with yourself or your team to adjust, optimize, and reaffirm direction. Part 3. Create relentless follow-through. JITAs are easy. Execution is rare. Strategic thinking turns powerful when it's paired with relentless follow-through. The discipline to act even when the spark is gone. Even when things are messy, and especially when no one is watching. The discipline loop here's. A loop used by elite performers to keep their strategy alive. Decide, choose a clear goal, and commit to it fully. Design, build a system, and schedule that supports it. Do you take consistent daily or weekly action? Reflect, analyze. What's working, what isn't, and why. Refine, adjust, and do it again. Stronger. Repeat until mastery. Tip. This loop turns strategy into habit into momentum. Kill the perfectionism. Perfectionism is often a mask for fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of failing. Fear of being exposed, but perfection kills motion. Strategic execution requires a bias toward shipping, not polishing. You can't improve what isn't live. You can't adjust what doesn't exist. Set a 90% rule. Launch or act when your work is 90% ready. Get feedback. Iterate in public. Done is the fuel of strategic momentum. Part 4. Systematize. Your strategic actions. Great strategies fail when they rely on motivation. Real success depends on systems, repeatable processes that execute even when you don't feel like it. Turn goals into operating systems. Treat your strategy like a business would. Daily rituals equals your production line. Calendar blocks equals your factory hours. Trackers and dashboards equals your quality control. Automate, delegate, and document everything that's repeatable. Example, building a brand. Systematize your content workflow. Mondays equals research, Tuesdays equals writing, Wednesdays equals filming, Thursdays equals editing. Fridays equals publishing and promotion. Now it's not chaos, it's a machine. Reduce friction. Friction is anything that slows you down or discourages action. A messy desk, unclear next steps, too many tools, notifications. Strategists. Reduce friction ruthlessly. Use this 3-part audit. Start friction. What makes it hard to begin? Middle friction. What makes it hard to stay in flow? End friction. What makes it hard to finish? Then simplify or eliminate each obstacle. Real-world strategy in motion. Anzi Vosos didn't. Teja's dream of being the everything store. He built a strategy. Start with books, high demand, low inventory cost, build logistics while demand grew. Use profits to scale into other categories, reinvent cloud storage to fund expansion. Each phase was executed with ruthless clarity. Not random ambition, intentional motion. Serena's longevity came not just from talent, but strategy. Focused training built a team around recovery. Not just practice, adapted her playstyle with age, never let losses derail. Her mission, she didn't just think strategically, she moved strategically. Mindset shifts for strategy in action 1. Action clarifies. Thought paralyzes. Too much thinking can lead to overanalysis. Instead, use motion as a diagnostic tool. The best way to test a strategy is to act on it too. Strategy lives in the calendar, not the vision board. If it's not scheduled, it's not strategic. If it's not measured, it's not managed. 3. The plan is sacred until it's not. Commit fully to your plan, but always be ready to adjust it based on real data. Not emotion, strategy in motion, checklist before. You leave this chapter, run through this checklist. If you're serious about results, these steps will turn your strategic ideas into tangible progress. Have you defined a clear, measurable goal? Did you break it into chunks and order them strategically? Is your plan on your calendar? With protected blocks, do you have a feedback loop to adjust your execution weekly? Are you prioritizing shipping over perfection? Have you built systems and removed friction? If you can answer yes to all, you are now operating. As a true strategic executor, final words. Strategy is a verb. To many people, treat strategy like a document, a deck, a daydream. But real strategy is a verb. It moves, it adapts, it evolves. Strategic thinking gives you the map. Strategic action gets you to the destination, but strategy in motion. That's where the transformation happens. You already have the mind, but you have the method. The only thing left to do is move. Chapter 9. Outsmart chaos. Chaos is not the exception. It's the rule. We often plan as if the world will cooperate. We assume stability, predictability, and progress in a straight line. Then life reminds us how fragile order really is. A global pandemic shuts down the world. Job loss wipes out your savings. A relationship implodes without warning. A competitor undercuts your entire strategy. The illusion of control disappears, and chaos takes the wheel. Here's the truth most people never prepare for. Chaos is not the exception. Chaos is the default. The difference between those who break and those who build is not luck. It's not genius. It's the ability to think clearly, move decisively, remain calm in the storm. This chapter is about developing that ability. Why strategic thinking must include chaos management. Most strategy books teach planning systems. Routines, they work until life gets messy. But the best strategic minds anticipate disruption. They expect disorder. They prepare for it like a warrior trains for battle, not hoping for peace, but mastering the art of performance under pressure. In this chapter, we'll learn how to build mental clarity in uncertainty, stay emotionally grounded when pressure spikes, make smart decisions when the facts are unclear, turn disruption into strategic opportunity. Lead others through storms with stability. Part 1. Understand the nature of chaos. What chaos really means. Chaos doesn't always mean disaster. It simply means high uncertainty, low predictability, fast change. It can be caused by market volatility, personal crises, sudden opportunities, internal conflict, public events like COVID, economic shifts, tech disruption. Most people freeze or flail in chaos. Strategic thinkers see it differently. Chaos reveals, it doesn't create. Chaos doesn't create your weaknesses, just exposes them. If your team lacks trust, chaos will surface it. If your habits are fragile, chaos will break them. If your mindset isn't trained, chaos will hijack it. This is why preparing for chaos before it happens is one of the most strategic decisions you can make. Part 2. Build mental resilience. Calm is a competitive advantage in turbulent environments. The calmest person in the room has the most power. Not because they have the answers, but because they have access to their thinking when others panic.com is not passive. It's a skill. You must train yourself to remain grounded when you're hit with bad news, you're under urgent deadlines. Everything feels like it's going wrong. The OODA loop. How fighter pilots outsmart chaos, developed by military strategists. John Boyd, the OODA loop, helps elite performers win in rapidly changing environments. OODA equals observe, gives orient, gives decide, gives act in chaos. This loop keeps you agile. Observe. Gather real-time data. What's actually happening? Orient. Filter. The noise, what matters most right now. Decide. Choose the best course of action. Don't freeze act. Move with clarity, and be ready to loop again. The faster and more calmly you run this loop, the more power you gain while others hesitate or react emotionally. Part 3. Upgrade. Your cognitive toolkit for uncertainty, cognitive overload. Chaos's favorite weapon. Under stress, your brain becomes narrow and focused, biased in reasoning, slower to adapt, reactive, not proactive. This is where mental models and decision frameworks become essential. Model. Pre-mortem thinking. Ask. If this plan fails, what will likely cause it? Thinking backward helps you anticipate chaos before it hits and build safeguards into your plan. Model. Optionality in chaotic environments. Flexibility beats precision. Always ask, what are my backup plans? What decisions can I delay until more information emerges? Where can I preserve options instead of locking in commitments? Think like a venture capitalist. You're not trying to predict exactly. You're buying options for different futures. Part 4. Master emotional regulation. Under. Emotion kills strategy. If you let it in moments of chaos, your emotions can become your worst enemy. Anger, fear, panic, despair, these aren't bad. They're human, but if you let them drive, you crash. Strategic thinkers feel everything, but they don't act from it blindly. The 4 A's of emotional control. Awareness. Notice the emotion in real time. Label it without judgment. I'm feeling anxious. Acceptance. Don't resist or suppress. Accept that it's present, but it doesn't have to guide you. Anchor. Use grounding techniques. Deep breathing, movement, meditation, visualization, journaling. Act wisely. Let your values, not your emotions, drive your behavior. Don't believe everything you feel in the middle of the storm. Anchor first, then act. Part 5. Lead strategically in chaos. People don't need perfection. They need direction. In uncertain times, people don't follow the smartest person. They follow the clearest person. Whether you lead a team, a family, or yourself, your job is to create clarity where there's confusion. Project Tom, where there's anxiety, show direction. When no one knows what to do, leadership equals holding the emotional center for others. Build a chaos communication protocol. Have a system for high pressure. Communication. Cadence. How often will you update the team? Channels. Where will info be shared? Tone. Transparent.com. Direct decision. Process. Who decides and how fast? Pro tip. In chaos, over-communicate by 10x. People crave certainty, even if it's just knowing you're working on it. Part 6. Turn chaos into strategic advantage. Strategic. Chaos equals shake the board in nature. Chaos triggers evolution. In business, it resets competition. In life, it forces reinvention. Ask, what rules are breaking? What truths no longer hold? What could I do now that I couldn't before? Crisis equals reset equals opportunity. Just survive the storm. Use it to reposition, relaunch, reinvent. Framework. The chaos window. Look for 3 windows that only open during disruption. Reset habits. People are open to change, rebuild relationships. Shared adversity creates deep bonds. Reinvent identity. What used to define you might no longer apply. Choose. Again, Part 7. Build an anti-fragile life. Author Nassim Taleb introduced the concept of being anti-fragile. Systems that don't just survive disorder, they get stronger from it. To build an anti-fragile life. Diversify income and skill sets. Automate savings and buffers. Reduce reliance on fragile routines. Invest in relationships. Not just results. Welcome discomfort as training stress plus recovery equals growth. Chaos is the gym. Strategy is your training plan. You're not breaking, you're building. Final mindset shift number 1. From control to adaptability's top. Trying to control everything, focus on responding well to anything. Shift number 2. From panic to pattern recognition, chaos feels unique, but patterns repeat. Learn the signals, and you'll act with power. Shift number 3. From fragile plans to resilient principles, your plan will change. Your principles shouldn't lead from values, not predictions. Your chaos readiness checklist, here's your pre-crisis protocol. Use it now. Before the next storm hits, do I have buffers, financial, emotional, time? 3 principles for decision-making. If I practice the UDA loop in daily life, can I calm myself quickly using a reliable method? Do I have a system to communicate in times of pressure? Do I review and refine my plans weekly? Chapter 10. Legacy by design. What is a legacy really? When people hear the word legacy, they often think of death, of a will, of what's left behind when you're gone. But legacy isn't something you leave behind, it's something you build every day. It's not about grand monuments or history books. It's the ripple effects of your decisions, your actions, and your character across time. Your legacy is how people feel after you leave the room. It's what carries forward from your choices when you're no longer present. It's what continues to grow even in your absence. Legacy isn't reserved for billionaires or presidents. Every person has one. But the question is, will your legacy happen by default or by design? This chapter is about designing a life that compounds value on purpose. A life that becomes more valuable with time. A life that outlives you not just in memory, but in measurable, meaningful ways. The foundation. Live with strategic intention. Most people drift. Strategic people design. Drift is what happens when you live by reaction, not intention. You follow the crowd, respond to noise, and let life steer for you. Design is the opposite. It's when you decide what kind of life you want to build, align your daily actions to that vision. Set systems and principles that sustain you through time to live with strategic intention. Ask, what kind of impact do I want to have? What does my future self thank me for? What am I willing to endure or sacrifice for that legacy? The earlier you ask these questions, the more power you have to shape the answers. The compounding power of strategic living. Think of your life like an investment portfolio. Every decision you make is a deposit or withdrawal. Strategic living means investing time in things that pay off long-term learning. Relationships, reputation, avoiding decisions that erode your integrity or energy stacking. Habits and systems that compound automatically over time. This isn't about being rigid or robotic. It's about being deliberate. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing today making my tomorrow easier or harder? Is this choice building or borrowing from my future? Legacy isn't built in a moment, it's built in layers. Every hour, every conversation, every project adds a layer to your long-term impact. The 3 pillars of strategic legacy. Let's break legacy into 3 parts: personal, relational, and societal, and explore how to design each intentionally. 1. Personal legacy. Who are you becoming? Your personal legacy is the story of your character, values, and self-mastery. It's what people remember about how you lived, not just what you achieved. Key questions. What principles do I want to be known for?
Habits shape my identity.
Am I proud of the person I'm becoming? Design tips. Create a code of conduct for your life. Your 510. Non-negotiable values. Build keystone habits that reflect those values daily. Keep a private legacy journal where you track how well you're living your principles. Example, you value generosity, gives you systematized monthly donations, spontaneous help, and mentorship sessions. Your identity becomes a compounding asset not just for others, but for yourself. 2. Relational legacy. How do you impact others? This is the legacy of your presence, your mentorship, your partnerships, and how you show up in relationships. Key questions. What would people say about me when I'm not in the room? Who am I helping become better just by knowing me? Am I building bridges or burning them? Design tips. Invest in depth. Not just breadth. 5 deep relationships beat 50 surface ones. Schedule legacy conversations with those who matter. Ask deep questions. Give real feedback. Express gratitude. Teach what you know. Freely and frequently become a node of growth. Pro tip. Legacy is viral. The better you make others, the more your own value multiplies without you having to be present. 3. Societal legacy. What will you leave behind? This is about your contribution to the world, your work, your creations, your causes, your influence. Key questions. What problem am I helping solve? What truth am I helping reveal? What system am I helping improve? Design tips. Align your work with purpose. Don't just work for income. Work for impact. Document your knowledge. Blogs, books, videos. Make your mind shareable. Build systems or products that scale your values, for example. Team, a nonprofit, a course, a culture. You don't need to be famous. You need to be useful. And usefulness, strategically applied, becomes legacy. How to design a life that outlives you? Let's now build your personal legacy framework, a strategy for becoming someone whose influence survives them. Step 1. Define your North Star. Write a short legacy vision statement. Start with, I want my life to be remembered for. Then finish the sentence with, a value, a contribution, a transformation you helped cause. Example. I want my life to be remembered for unlocking potential in others, especially those who doubted themselves. This becomes your compass. For everything else, step 2. Choose your leverage channels. How will you deliver your impact? Think writing books, newsletters, speaking, YouTube, podcasts, mentorship, one-on-one South, coaching, building teams, products, organizations. Pick 1, 2 channels where you're both effective and fulfilled. Then scale them over time. Step 3. Reverse engineer the time. Ask, if I want to leave this legacy in 20 years, what must I master in 10? What must I be practicing in 5? What must I be building this year? What habits must exist in my week? Let's convert someday into strategy. How strategic thinkers turn time into legacy. Strategic thinkers don't just spend time, they invest it with a focus on return. Ask weekly, what did I do this week that compounded? What did I do that aligned with my legacy vision? What did I do that didn't belong in a legacy life? Course correct quickly. It's easier to recover from a misstep now than regret it forever later. Mindset shifts for a legacy-driven life. 1. From urgency to importance. Urgent things scream. Important things whisper. Legacy lives in the quiet work you do when no one's watching. Learn to prioritize what compounds, not just what explodes. 2. From performance to contribution. Stop asking, how do I look? Start asking, who am I helping? Legacy is not about being impressive. It's about being impactful. 3. From control to continuity. You can't control what people do with your legacy, but you can design something so useful it continues. Without you, this is how empires, philosophies, and ideas last. It's not because the creator controls, but because they crafted continuity into the core. Real-life examples of legacy by design. Nelson Mandela legacy. Reconciliation, not revenge. Design, spent 27 years in prison, cultivating discipline and forgiveness. Built structures for peace, not just power. Stu Beast YouTube legacy. Viral. Generosity. Design. Built a system of entertainment that funds massive giving. Team reinvestment model. Repeatable systems equals compounding impact. Your local teacher, mentor, or parent legacy. Who taught you how to think? Who gave you a chance when no one else did? Many legacies are invisible but powerful because they were deliberately built, not just emotionally delivered. Legacy by design checklists. Want to start building today? Review this list weekly. Have I written a clear legacy vision? Am I aligning 80% of my time with long-term impact? Are my habits supporting the identity I want to leave behind? Am I multiplying value in others intentionally? Do I have systems that will work when I'm not around? Am I documenting? My knowledge for future use? Am I doing something each week that will outlast me? Final words. Legacy is a strategic choice. This book has been about much more than tactics and tricks. It's been about how to think so you can design a life worth remembering. Strategy is not about controlling everything. It's about choosing the right direction, the right values, and the right habits, and executing them again and again. Until they compound, legacy doesn't happen when you die. It happens when you start living like what you do matters, because it does. You have one life.